Few weeks ago, while I was in the Vihara, we started the new sutta, Culakammavibhanga Sutta. If I'm not mistaken, that was, I think, April 14. No, not 14. April 7th, I think. And that day, I introduced this new sutta called Culakammavibhanga Sutta by saying that this sutta presents karma. I think we all are very much interested about knowing karma in the proper way, in the right way, how the Buddha gave us. And also, on that day, I shared with you a PowerPoint presentation. I don't know how many, I think most of you must have seen that PowerPoint presentation. If you are a new person, you might not see it because normally on WhatsApp groups, when you come new, you won't see the history. So I hope that Sister Billing and Sister Eng will share with you those forward with you that PPT as well. So it's important. And the reason why I picked up this sutta is that by the end of our series, this Culakammavibhanga Sutta series, I hope that you would have a good understanding about karma, right? A good understanding means not a normal understanding. Because the normal understanding of the karma is that everything happens due to karma, right? That's a normal understanding. When something bad happens to you, that is my karma, isn't it? That's what you know. So if you want to know that from me, you don't have to come to Vihara today. That's normal. Everybody knows that. But according to Buddhism, the Buddha says not everything happens due to karma. So who knows? Who knows this particular happiness or unhappiness happens from karma? Normally, when we are happy, we don't check our karma, right? Do we check our karma? No, that's out of the subject. When we are happy, right? Why to check the source of the karma? But when things don't go the way how we expect, that might be a point that people might think about. Perhaps I did everything, but still something is happening to me. Maybe this is something I did in a past life. But how to know? It's just a hypothetical, just a imaginary kind of a guess type of understanding. So I tell you today, at the beginning now, because we are getting into 7 sets every day from today, that means one man approached the Buddha and asked the Buddha 7 happy, unhappy situations in life and asked the Buddha, why do these things happen to people? And then the Buddha said, some people go through the first case, second case, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7 cases due to karma. Not everybody goes through these situations due to karma. Okay, so we have to draw the line like that. So the first set is about longevity and dying early, premature death. I think this is a very interesting thing. I think everybody wants to live longer. I think that's a very good idea. I mean, you don't have to die early. You never know where you're going to be reborn now. Only the books tell you that you do this good karma, you will be reborn somewhere, right? But practically speaking, we never know what is going to happen to us. But we have a certain guarantee. Yes, we follow the Buddha's teaching. Something good must happen to me. But we don't know what good will happen to us. We have no idea about what exactly is going to happen to us. So only the books talk about it. Only the text, sacred texts talk about it. Depending on the sacred text, Dhamma speakers talk about like that, right? That is what we know so far. So that is why I'm telling you that may be true. We don't have to die early if we could live long. But when life is becoming aching, hanging, like you are not happy about your body, you might think about giving up. How many people give up life every day? Not that they die, they give up life. And then when we ask, why did you give up? So many worries in my life, so many frustrations. But you ever thought that someone else is going through more pain than you? Someone else is going through a lot of problems than you? What do you think about those people? Because you think only you live in this world. You think you have to find happiness more than other people. So sometimes happiness is not just a feeling; we have to create it. Almost, especially when it comes to sustainable happiness, we need to create that happiness. That's why we have to think that a long life is a blessing. Now, how long is a long life? How long should we live to be considered to be in a long life? 60? I don't think so. 70? 80? Perhaps 80. 80 and above. The mortality rate might be 80 and above. What about 90 and above? 100? By Buddha's time, we understand some disciples lived more than 100 years. Who are they? Venerable Ananda, Venerable Bakkula. Right? These disciples lived more than 100 years. So we don't know. But what I say is that if you understand what to do to live longer, that is a good thing that you learn from this Dhamma sharing today. Number one, we are concerned about karma. Is there a good karma that we can do to live long? Yes. That's what we are learning today in the first place. But there are many things we can do to live longer other than good karma as well. I mean, there might be some choices we make in our life. Maybe new karma, not just based on some old karmas. Okay, in order to understand that, we will get into the sutta today. I hope you can see this one. Culakammavibhanga Sutta. Short analysis of karma. And then we have done this part a little bit. And here you can see there was a man called Subha, and then he approached the Buddha. He talked to Buddha. And then when the greetings, I'm not picking up a lot of Pali, because I know there are new people too, but I will pick up the necessary Pali at right time. When the greetings and polite conversation were over, he sat down to one side and said to the Buddha, what is the cause, Buddha? What is the reason why even among those who are human beings, some are seen to be inferior and superior? I think this has to be properly translated. This translation is the translation we picked up here. Sutta Central is a literal translation. Inferior, superior here means why some are going through things that are higher than other people, why some are going through things that are lower than other people, higher and lower. I think this is a question. I think you almost have it every day, right? When you think about the comparison side, right? I mean, perfectionism obsession, productivity obsession, happiness obsession, right? People might go through certain things. So I think the same question, they might be resonate in different ways. So he asked the Buddha, why some people are different than other people? Why some people are different than other people? Now he is picking up 7 sets. The first set is today's one. For people are seen who are short-lived and long-lived. Why some are living shorter? Why some are living longer? Why some are always sick? Why some are always healthy? Why some look to be not looking good, why some are beautiful than others. Why some are very influential, why some are not that influential. Why some are very poor, why some are very rich. Why some come from families that have a lot of problems, why some are coming from families that have some nobility, some supportive families. Why some are very unwise, why some are very wise. You can see the Pali words over here. Appayuka means short life, Tigayuka means long life. Bauha Bada means lot of sicknesses, Appa Bada means less sicknesses. Dubana means not looking that good physically. Manavanto means looking beautiful, pretty, pleasant. And Appesakka means not that influential. Why some are very influential. Mahesakka. Appaboga means poverty. I would say not having a lot of things. And Mahabhoga means Maha means a lot. Why some people have a lot of comforts. Nicha means very challenging families. Uchakurina means very supportive, very helpful families. Dupanya means unwise, and then Panyavanto means wise. So these are the 7 sets which have 2 areas. And then the Buddha said to him, the reason is Kammasaka Manava Satta, Kamma Dayada, Kamma Yoni, Kamma Bandhu, Kamma Patisarana. Sentient beings are the owners of their karma, heir to their karma. Karma are their womb and the relative and the refuge. Right? This is okay. Fundamentally, initially, it is because of the karma, for the most part. Right? Now, say for instance, our rebirth is definitely a karma. Our face, body, all are karmically made. And but when we were reborn, until we die, we are living, right? So during that time, we can make a lot of choices. Those choices are not coming from karma. They are our own version. That's what we have to be very concerned of. Because we can change our lot of things in today's world. We can. There are certain things we may not be able to change. Rather than accepting that I was born in this way, that way, why don't we think about changing our unhappiness or happiness? That is where we are going to place more emphasis in this discussion too. But understand that karma plays a vital role. Another idea to look at it is that if karma plays a vital role in our life, why don't we create good karma now? At least for the future. Rather than blaming the all karma we may have done. Let's create more good karma now, every day. Right? Okay, so going into our today's section. So at that point, the young man Subba told the Buddha, I don't understand the meaning of what you told just now. So can you please explain to me? The young man Subba told the Buddha, I don't understand what you told me. Can you please explain? Please teach me this matter in detail so I can understand the meaning. When the Buddha told him, well then, Subba, listen and apply your mind well. I will talk to you. So Subba said, okay. Now the Buddha is talking about the first set. So for that, I'm going to pick up the notes. I think you already got the notes, right? You can, if you think you are very uncomfortable in watching the TV, you can access the notes through your phone, right? Phone or iPad, tablet, through whatever the gadget. Okay. Were the newcomers able to gain access to the notes today? Were you able to access? if you were not able to access, can someone share the link so that you can gain access to the link as well? Okay. Day 76, living long, dying young. Now, this is not the idea. This is what the Buddha talks here. Why do some people live longer? Why some die? Yeah, you may have your own thoughts, your own version, but here the Buddha is telling young man Subha, why do some people live longer? Why some people die earlier? Understanding karma about this particular point through the Culakammavibhanga Sutta. The Buddha addresses this question in the Culakammavibhanga Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, 135th Sutta. Mistaken. He explained that beings, all of sentient beings, humans, other beings, Deva, Naga, Mahidika, everybody, we experience differing lifespans or different lifespans in our specific life, primarily due to the karma. Primarily, okay? Don't get misunderstood this word. Primarily due to the karma we have done in the past and continue to perform. Why did we say primarily? Now think about there is someone who was reborn with a good karma. Okay? The person is supposed to live 80 years. But suddenly, from his teenager time, maybe school time, he or she is going to be surrounded with the visceral bad friends. And then start doing drugs, drinking, right? Maybe giving a lot of pain to the body in a search of experience in the consciousness, right? Want to search how to experience my consciousness, and then getting into a lot of problems. And then by 30, by 25, 30, everything has such people will have done a lot of things, and the body has been thoroughly painful at that point. Now, physical health, mental health are also damaged because of those poor life choices. Now, by 30 years old time, the person is going to have a cancer, maybe a lung cancer, because the person has been smoking a lot. Now, this particular person is going to meet a Buddhist, somebody like you. And then the person is going to tell you, I'm not a Buddhist, but now the doctor told me I have a lung cancer. So I think my days are counted already. As a Buddhist, can you tell me an idea? But you got cancer because you did a bad karma in a past life. That's why you got lung cancer. Now you're going to die. So how many days are you living? Maybe 3 months. Then go to a Vihara and light some candles and do some good karma. Three months. At least you will make more good karma. Is that a good advice? Correct advice? Is that interpretation correct according to this sutta and the Buddhist understanding? No. Association, surrounding with the bad friends is not a good karma, bad karma. It is your choice. You messed up in your life. And now you bring in that bad life choice to the karma. It's not a karma. You made that wrong choice in your life. So I think in our life, if we look at what has been happening to us, 85, 95 out of 100 problems we are having, they are not happening from past life. They are mostly our wrong, poor choices. I'm trying to make you very ambitious and purposeful. That is what Buddha says. Right effort, energy, effortless effort. So that is not a karma. Then somebody might say, why your life is counted now? Yeah, that's a karma. Say, for instance, you are going out in the rain without an umbrella. Right? Some people even say rain is also good karma, right? Rain is rain. It's a natural thing, right? And then you going without an umbrella in that torrential rain, and you get exposed to the rain. Now, by the evening, you are developing a certain cold. Now, someone who doesn't have that proper understanding about the karma is thinking, this is karma. I was so good in the morning and I got the cold. I caught this cold because of karma. So, don't bring everything to the karma. It's such an innocent person. Garbage everything to the karma box. That was an unwise choice. If it is raining, if you really want to take care of yourself, you should have brought an umbrella, right? So in that way, primarily, the English word primarily here I use because you need to understand the reason behind a lot of things. I mean, major things in our life, they might relate to karma primarily, but not necessarily, not exclusively to the karma. So then again, I'm trying to tell you, you can create your own good life. You can create your happy life. Because Buddhism is there not to tell you that there is suffering, there is pain. What does Buddhism say? How to handle your pain, how to find happiness. Buddhism tells you how to deal with your worries, not to tell life is a worry. It is the way out of pain. It is the way out of problems. It is not the problem. It is not the problem itself. But unfortunately, when you learn a lot of things about Buddhism, you perhaps may have understood Buddhism is only talking about suffering, right? It's only about suffering. So Buddhism does talk about dukkha to tell us how to get out of the dukkha, how to find happiness. That is the purpose of Buddhism. Even this conversation about karma is being discussed by Buddhism to tell us how to live longer, not to die early. Right? So, this is the fundamental understanding about this first set. But now we will keep going. Long life versus short life. Short life results from killing living beings. This is what this section says. Some people die because they have killed living beings in a past life, perhaps in this life. Panatipata. Now we have to understand this Pali word. Panatipata. Pana atipata. What is atipata? Yeah. Can say like this. Pana. Pana means living being. Atipat. This is how we're going to break it down. Atipat. Pata means fall down. Patati. Pali. Pata means fall down. Atipata means you are causing someone's life to fall down, life faculty to fall down. This is what happens strategically or unintentionally, right? That's why the Buddha asks us to be careful when you are handling everything. Even you are walking around, even you are doing anything, you have to be careful, right? Are we really careful when we are walking sometimes? Or we don't mind, we just walk. We don't mind whoever is on the road, whoever is in the lineup, right? We have to be mindful about it. Mindfulness is not something you do on a cushion. It is the starting point of mindfulness. Some people, they pack up everything and then go and do it. But real mindfulness is bringing mindfulness to every activity. So Are we mindful about our walking, our talking, our moving, our driving, our cooking, everything? Then only we can take care of all these beings. At least, right? So panatipata. Now this is the first precept out of 5 precepts. You see, panatipata means pana atipata, causing someone's life to drop, fall from the vitality, life faculty. Right? We have a life faculty, right? That life faculty can be dropped anytime. We are that fragile. But if you cause that life faculty of someone to drop, that is called panatipata. If someone is to shoot someone, stab someone, that is physical killing. What about character assassination? Right? There are other people who are destroying someone's character, writing wrong information on social media, petitioning wrongly, dividing the goodwill of two people. All these are killing. Finally, you have killed those people. And there are some other people who are not doing anything like this, but they are killing other people in their mind. Morning to evening, they are killing many people. When they are very angry about it. So they kill other beings. Because Buddhism talks about a psychological carefulness. That means it is good that you stop physical killing, but still killing can happen in your thoughts. Then we have to stop killing thoughts arising from our mind, from our thoughts. How to stop killing thoughts arising? We have to practice, cultivate thoughts, metta, karuna, mudita, upekka, all the time. Right? That cultivation is only the way to tackle such harmful thoughts to come. Right? So it's a everyday practice. That cultivation has to happen every day. Not during our sutta discussion only, not during your meditation only, not during any other good activity only. It has to happen all the time. Okay, so now here, the reason why some people die early is because they have caused other beings' life to drop from the life vitality, life faculty or life vitality. And at the same time, they have done it because they were very cruel people. Very cruel people. Adaya. Now, daya means empathy, but adaya means cruelty. Right? They've been very cruel about other beings, animals, other human beings, right? So this is the reason. Then why some people live longer? It is because long life results from abstaining from killing, living with compassion, dayapan. That means now you understand the basic reason why some people live longer is that those beings have not killed other beings in past life. Now, don't misunderstand. Everybody who is dying in their 20s, in their teenager time, in their 30s, we cannot say that they must have killed other people. Maybe some other people might have done bad choices in their life. That's why I'm telling you. The primary reason is karma. But secondary, tertiary, other reasons could be not karma. They may be their choices, their bad association, maybe the wrong timing, right? There may be many other reasons. Because now what we understand is that when a bad thing happens, most of the Buddhists get together and then do a post-mortem, They are thinking, oh, why that person died? Maybe bad karma. Why that person died? Also bad karma. Why those two people died? Also bad karma. They all do the post-mortem before the right actual people go and do the post-mortem. How can we decide that? That's why I'm telling the primary reason is only the karma. Secondary, tertiary reasons are very unknown to us because we don't have that knowledge. Only the Buddha had that. He's the one who knows what was it a karma? Was it due to other reasons? Okay. So now at this point, short life primarily comes to us because of killing other beings, and long life primarily comes to us due to saving other beings, protecting other beings. Now you think about a certain non-Buddhist, you approach a non-Buddhist. The non-Buddhist is 100 over years old, 100 or two, and you are going to ask, can you tell me the secret behind your longevity? And that person will tell you different other things, maybe food habits, maybe the family, maybe less stress. Right? Nowadays, stress is one of the very biggest reasons why people even can't digest their food. Right? When you are stressed out, even the food you are taking are not going to be digested properly. Because that means body and mind work together. Right? They always work together. We think we can do everything from the mind. No. Mind and body work together. Even the food you are taking into your body will digest smoothly if you have less stress. Having less cortisol and all these unnecessary neurochemicals, you are making it happen properly. That's why we have to understand that if you approach a non-Buddhist, they might not believe in the karma. They might say their own secrets and how they did it. Less stress, trying to see positively, less complaints. I think these are very important things in our life. Say for instance, if you are a person who is trying to sleep for a number of hours in the proper way, not trying to staying up every day. That's a good thing to practice Dhamma too, right? Morning time is a good time to practice Dhamma, meditation and all that. If you are someone who is eating properly, if you are someone who is not taking unnecessary stress of other people, not taking worries of other people, you do the necessary thing to other people. A lot of people are not doing the necessary things to the loved ones. But when they're going to pass away, they're going to worry everything after that. Why you didn't do things when they were alive with you? Buddhists have to be mindful to do the right thing at the right time. And then what about complaints? Our life is full of a lot of things. We can choose complaints or we can choose compliments. Or at least we can understand what is happening to us. Less complaints will make our day very happy. Right? So that's why I'm telling you, even this karma could be the primary reason we can challenge our karma. We can challenge it if we really mindful, practicing good things. It can be changed. Right? So that thing has to be understood. Now we will go and look at it. How can someone do a killing in a previous life, and how can that come back to the person like a boomeranging? This is what we see. A man or woman who kills living beings, panatipati, being cruel, luto, bloody-handed, lohitapani, immersed in killing and violence, hatapahatte nimitto. Immersed means always, habitually killing all the time, engaging in that. And without compassion, adayapanno, towards all beings. As a result of those bad karma, after death, after that life, death, last life, or previous life, reborn in hell, in a state of miserable place. If not reborn in a bad place, hell, instead come back to the human world, that kind of a person is short-lived, powerful. Thus, habitual killing leads to short life. Okay. On the other hand, a man or woman who abandons killing, abstain from killing, lay down the rod and sword, is modest, very embarrassed to do it, kind-hearted, and dwells compassionate for the welfare of all living beings. As a result of such actions after death, is reborn in a good place, maybe a heaven. If instead reborn in the human realm here, that kind of a person is long life, Digayuko. Thus, refraining from killing leads to long life. That means we have to be very careful whether we are killing or not killing, physically, mentally, verbally, right? We all are part of it. Can we kill other people by with our words? We can, right? Especially our loved ones. If you use the wrong words, if you are attacking somebody with those words, you can kill them. And that person will carry a lot of animosity, a lot of unhappiness. And not even that person, you are also killing yourself. You cannot sleep after that because you are always thinking you did it to the other person. That means here, even the Buddha talks about physical killing at that time. We have to take verbal, mental killing in the implied sense. Okay? So never kill anybody, even in a thought. Let's be very disciplined in our life, right? Okay, now we go to other details, information about this. Okay, I'm not going to read this. This is the same idea. I mean, translation of the text. We go here. Relevant factors of on lifespan according to the suttas and broader teachings. Okay, what does this mean? This means what are the things that we have to be very careful when it comes to killing, or maybe not killing or killing. Now we understand we have to avoid, but what are the things we have to know in particular? Number one, chetana, intention, or we can say volition. The ethical quality of your actions, particularly the volition behind them, significantly shapes karmic consequences. Okay. Number one is intention or volition. But this is a very tricky thing. You are the one who knows what kind of intention you have, right? Say, for instance, you do a bad thing to other person, and then when other people are asking you, you might say something different. But you are the one who only know what you did. So that's why let's be very honest. I think that day also I told Buddhism is really working for people who are very honest, not for those people who are not honest. Because everything in Buddhism is self-related. Only oneself knows what oneself is doing and not doing. Not that we are watching other people, overseeing other, you are doing a bad thing. Stop doing that. That kind of discipline cannot be implemented in Buddhism. Because Buddhism believes mind is the most important thing, right? So that's why here we have to understand Chetana, a Pali word Chetana, represents the biggest deal in our activities. How to understand Chetana? Are you doing certain activities in your life without intention? Can you think that for a moment? Today, since morning till until you come here, did you engage in any activity that you did without intention? Certain activities you might have done. Walking, sometimes you were not aware that you are walking because you walk for something. But when you were talking to someone from morning until now, time to time, different people, to different people, were you really mindful of what you were talking? Then you think about how many intentions, how many chetana, how much chetana we had while we were talking. So that means every time when we were talking, we have to be really mindful about what we are talking. So we can save us at that point. So chetana matters. That means Buddhism always looked at the chetana part of any action. Sometimes you may have killed a mosquito, right? Mosquito. But how to understand this killing the mosquito thing here? It's not a good thing, right? But We understand we have to save us. We have to do the necessary things to prevent from mosquito bites. We don't want to be sick also, right? So we have to do the necessary things to protect from such attacks, such bites, right? So we have to take the necessary actions too. At the same time, we need to understand what kind of chetana we had in those activities. So any killing is bad, but chetana, the way how you bring that chetana matters. Now, say for instance, um, there are two people. One person accidentally kills a being. Accidentally, can that happen? It can happen, right? I mean, if you look at a daily scenario, it might happen. Uh, but there is someone who is very strategic, planning to kill someone or to engage in that activity. Lots of animosity has been happening for many years, at least wishing that particular thing. So that person creating more bad karma because of the strategic plans with regard to that. But both people are doing bad things. But the person who is having a lot of volitions about that particular bad killing activity creates lots of bad karma. Let's avoid any killing. Let's be mindful. Let's be mindful not to drop anybody's vitality, right? So then we are safe. We are on the safer side. So chetana is very important. So that means every time when you are engaging in any activity, be careful with your volition. Number two, degree of action. What is that? Seriousness. For example, repeated or large scale harming intensifies karmic results. Large scale harming, degree of action. Have you seen people who have been taking revenge from other people, keeping the hatred for many years? That hatred does not go away. Once the person was angry, that anger stays in that person's life for many, many years, maybe decades. That is the degree problem, the degree of that hatred. So finally, if if a killing is going to happen, that killing creates lots of bad karma because of lots of hatred have been maintained for over many years, right? Now, it doesn't mean that someone who instantly kills someone doesn't have any bad karma. They all are bad karmas. But this one, uh, I mean, someone is planning so long and then this is happening, that also creates lots of issues. And then, third thing that you have to be concerned is mental states overall. Actions rooted in hatred, dosa, or cruelty tend to be heavier in karmic weight compared to actions done in ignorance. Okay, I'm not trying to look at this from a blanket thing stage. I'm trying to tell you that there are. Let's say that there are two evildoers. There's one who is doing because the person was not conscious about the bad karma. The other one knows that this is bad. So the one who knows bad create more akusala. I remember a lot of people some people actually, who came to, especially some Westerners who came to learn some meditation. They had told us long time ago, 15 years ago, we were happily looking at some animals getting killed, but now we worry about that happiness we had, that unfortunate happiness we created at that time, right? So this means we have to check whether our mental states are really working properly. Remember that there is a saying, there's a certain sub story that Buddha had a back pain and Buddha had a migraine back pain. So while he was talking Dhamma, he asks, he is telling some other monks that I cannot keep giving the Dhamma talk. I have a back pain. So can you come and give the Dhamma talk? And he got a headache sometime. And there were certain karmic stories going behind that. In a previous life, it was said that he had enjoyed as a normal person, or just enjoyed watching some other people catching certain fish in a place. That means you might not be the one who is killing other beings, but if you enjoy when other people are killing, that will be a bad karma will come to you. Now think about on social media, you see a lot of things, shootings, killings, right? If somebody is enjoying, these people must be as such, so and so, quote unquote. You are creating bad karma because it's an instant bad karma. You don't have to enjoy, tolerate such things. Killing is killing, whatever the killing. Even you see it through your naked eyes or through social media or internet, it is same. So we have to avoid having a bad pleasure. Sometimes you are not the perpetrator, bad person. You are just watching and enjoying it's happening. Maybe you don't want to enjoy, but suddenly an instant joy arises. Bad joy arises. Looking at someone is beating somebody, someone is attacking somebody. Finally, a fatality would come. You are creating bad karma. That's why you have to be mindful. Try to avoid. Try to instantly fix your mind. I should not enjoy by looking at someone's death, someone's pain. Rather, I wish, what if this could have, this, I mean, what if this could have not happened in this way, right? So this is how you are looking at those situations. So that means discipline your mental states, take care of your each thought. That is a good way. It might take time, but one day you will get there. It won't happen overnight, but one day you will get there if you keep the practice going on. That was about disciplining your mental states. Other karmic influences, beside killing, other moral and immoral actions such as generosity, stealing, influence one's overall health and conditions of rebirth. Not even killing. Other things also matter. Generosity and some other good qualities. Even your, as I said earlier, your eating habits, your lifestyle choices, they all matter, right? Even think about your right speech, what you talk to other people, right? They all matter, not even not killing. So just because you didn't kill other beings, it might not be enough for you to live long. That means you have to keep the Dhamma journey, keep all the other good qualities going at hand all the time. But this could be one of the primary reasons. And then ripening of past karma. Sometimes actions from long ago, even previous lives, can mature and manifest as sudden illness, accidents, or long life. This is something really very mystic. We never know what karma we may have done in maybe 2 lifetime from now, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 lifetime from now, right? So suddenly a certain bad karma can come. Then what are we supposed to do if life is so uncertain? If our karma that we done in a past life is so uncertain, then what to do? Do more good karma, double, triple, quadruple of our good karma, because we never know what will happen. So if we don't double, triple, quadruple, even a small bad karma suddenly come, something will happen to you. So are we just waiting, thinking, okay, today I listen to a Dhamma talk, so I should be good. Maybe another 5, 6 months I go back somewhere to Vihara and do a chanting, do a puja. No, don't wait like that. We never know what's going to happen. It's better to take action. As long as you postpone, put off your Dhamma actions, you are giving a lot of opportunities for your past buried karma, past buried bad karma to ripen. Let them sleep. Let them be buried. Let them be buried permanently by engaging in more good karma, double, triple, quadruple, and do more good karma. At least you are on the safer side, right? So, uh, I'm creating hope for you. I'm creating ambition, hope, purpose for you. Don't just think, karma will come and get me. No, karma won't be able to come if you create that shift. But if you've done a very, very bad karma, killing your mother, father, it's very difficult to stop that coming, right? There are 6 bad karma, heinous karmas that might get you at a certain point. Because that's why the Buddha said, become a sotapanna. That's why the Buddha asks us to become a sotapanna. Not that Buddha wants us to go to Nibbana. A lot of people think, why the Buddha is asking, hey, try to become a sotapanna, go to the first level of enlightenment. Maybe he likes us to go to the same level just like him. No, that's not the reason. As long as you don't become a sotapanna, there is a chance you may engage in one of those very, very bad karmas, heinous karmas, killing mother, killing father, killing arahants, wounding the Buddha, creating a schism among Sangha members, and following a teacher who is not teaching true Dhamma. It can happen anytime. But once you become a Sotapanna, you never engage in those things. That's why the Buddha asks, be a Sotapanna. But I think most of the Buddhists don't know why Buddha asks us to become a Sotapanna. Maybe he wants us to go to Nibbana. Not exactly. Nibbana will happen as a thing in the process because you are not safe with regard to bad karma. That's why he asks us to do it. Where did the Buddha ask us to become a Sotapanna? To avoid the bad karma? Where did he say that? In which sutta? I think you will have to go back and check your chanting book, right? That's what you do normally. Because that's why some people don't understand what are given in the chanting book. It's especially the suttas, Ratana Sutta. Ratana Sutta. Monks chant every day, and you chant. Perhaps you may chant every day. How did the Buddha say that? Chachabitanani ababbu kato. Right? You find this statement in that sutta? Chachabitanani ababbu kato. When someone becomes a Sotapanna, that Sotapanna person is ineligible to break one of the, to do one of the 6 heinous karmas. Now, are you eligible or are you ineligible to do that? You think about it. If you think you are eligible, be careful. Be seriously careful because it might happen. If you did it, there will be an unlimited samsara waiting for you outside. Directionless samsara is waiting for you. Mara is waiting for you to accept you, to welcome you into that. That's why it is said that it's very important to understand that that there are certain bad karmas you must never engage. Better to become a Sotapanna. And then we are continuing. Non-karmic causes. In the broader Buddhist understanding, not all misfortune mean bad things that happen to us or early deaths are directly due to karma. Other conditions such as natural disasters, biological factors, or accidents can also play a role. Okay, an accident. Let's say a car accident. Someone dies out of a car accident. Now, somebody might think, okay, yes, we have to be careful. Sometimes you might be very careful, but we don't know another car is coming from the oncoming traffic can hit you. Can you save it? It might not be possible. But can we do certain healthy driving maneuvers to save from these careless drivers on the highway, on the road? What can we do? Because otherwise you have to go to the highway with the thinking, if I have done a good karma, I will not die. If I have done a bad karma, somebody will come and hit me and knock. Is this a good idea? I don't think this is a good idea. So you are very, very scared of karma, whenever you enter the highway, you never know what's going to happen to you. No, Buddha didn't say like that. There are a lot of healthy maneuvers you can do while driving from the careless drive. Defensive driving, not normal driving, defensive driving. And you learn how to drive defensively with some defense. And then on the other hand, you are extra careful about situations. When there is a festival time, you are careful. People drink and drive a lot. And then you can do a lot of things, right? But still, sometimes you might be very careful. A certain thing can happen, right? We never know at that point. But we are understanding that particular thing according to the situation. It might not be my karma. Maybe it might be somebody's distraction. Perhaps it might be a karma as well. It might be, but it might not be. So don't put all these things into karma. Think about a natural disaster. Thousands people die out of an earthquake, maybe a tsunami, a volcanic eruption, right? Are we going to put everybody, like, you all guys did the same bad karma in one life? How to trust that? Maybe, maybe not. How it can be? Now think about the person who dropped the nuclear bomb to Japan long time ago, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and he lived almost 100 years. Huh? Now you might think about, if he can kill more than 100,000 people, even the effects are still going on, how can he live that long? Right? Is it something that we learn in Buddhism? Sometimes bad karmas don't come to us. No. Perhaps this might come to him in the next life. Right? Perhaps it might not be his intention. He might have followed somebody's command. Right? We never. That's why it's very hard to determine the real karma, the vipaka actually. Right? So here what we have to understand is that don't put your, let's say, unhappiness right away to karma. It might be, it might not. So always leave that room to understand. Finally, we are coming down to the remarks. The Culakammavibhanga Sutta, the one that we are discussing, reminds us that intentional ethical conduct, particularly refraining from harming life, laying down weapons, and dwelling with compassion for all living beings, contribute to long life. Today, you then understand, if you are given a choice that you can live 100 years old on a condition, the condition is that you have to avoid all types of killing. Then this is the idea. That means you have to avoid all types of killing, even killing in a thought, right? Verbal, mental, physical, all the types of killing. And then, however, it's important to understand that early death or illness is not always purely the result of past karma. I think I said that earlier, even just now. Life is shaped by a complex web of causes and conditions. We call them pachaya. Biological, environmental, and accidental factors also have a role. So now we are looking at certain things we discussed a little bit on our first day, April 8. But they are very important to understand this particular thing about living long or dying early. Karma is not a linear process. One crime, one punishment system. Karma is not mechanical like a court system. You kill, so you must die young. Rather, it is dynamic. Past actions interweave with countless other causes, including mind, states, environments, even other beings' actions. So that means not even that person's particular individual actions. Let's say someone does a bad action, but this action is subject to many other actions, past life, even many other past lives too. And then we understand a very compassionate being could still die young. if other dormant karma matures suddenly. Thus, karma is better seen as a vast field of seeds. Some ripen quickly, some stay hidden for eons, long time. Can that happen? In one of my sutta class, somebody told, my technical guy died. He was a vegetarian. He died in his 20s. What's wrong with him? He was a vegetarian. So just because you are vegetarian, you think you can live longer. I mean, this is not one reason to live long. Maybe you will live longer. It is not the only reason. It's like a cultivation place. Some ripen quickly, some don't ripen that fast, right? Even if you have some bananas, unripened bananas, think about, are all bananas ripen very fast at the same time? Are they? Are they going to be ripened very fast in the same way? No. Some are ripened very fast. Some are ripening very slowly, right? Uh, some are overripened sometimes, right? So that is how things happen. So the way how the results come to us can be very different. That's why we see good people die early. Have you seen that? Not all the time, but sometimes we see good people die very early. I don't want to say the opposite. But what we need to understand is that why is it happening? It is not something they may have done in this life. Perhaps something they might have done in a previous life, or perhaps an unwise choice that they may have done. So once again, I want to tell you, a premature death is not always due to karma. But here we understand it is primarily due to the karma to some people. But some other people might die or live longer, not because of only the karma, but because there are other many reasons that can happen due to that thing. Second thing, karma ripens in unexpected domains. Some killing karma does not ripen in lifespan, but in mental illness, relationships, physical suffering, or even fearfulness. Likewise, kindness might not always result immediately in a long life. It may mature into intuitive wisdom or powerful rebirths. Now, what do you think? You think that in our sansaric life, none of us has never killed anybody, even an animal? We cannot say so. We might have. But then how come we are living better than many other beings compared to the people that we know in our life? We don't have to be proud about it. We have to be very humble about that feeling, and then to engage in more good karma. Being empathetic about the people who are going through problems, and then doing more. As I said earlier, double, triple, quadruple our saving, our what you call saving other beings, and doing good karmas. The same action can have different results for different people. Two people can commit similar acts, harming living beings, but their karmic fruits differ based on their underlying intention, mental maturity, and past karma. Example, a soldier kills under orders, but with a heavy, regretful heart. Another kills with joy and cruelty. The karmic weights are very different. Now, think about this example. A police officer, a soldier, under the commands from the superiors, are going to take action according to a certain very urgent situation. Think about the police officers were called to a certain house, and somebody is going to kill another person, an innocent person. And they can see that one person in that family is pointing a gun at the other person. And the police officer asking, put down the gun. They are trying to make a deal out of the situation, but the person is not doing that. In order to save the other people in the house, other person in the house, maybe the one who has nothing in his or her hand, the police might have to use the extra power, right? Extra force, just to stop that. So then, but How does that happen? Right? Are they carrying malicious thoughts? Can they carry malicious thoughts? They cannot, but they are only operating within their domains of command. Maybe to stay to establish the peace in that situation. But but on the other hand, there is someone who is very very planned and want to kill many living beings. So the results of the karma vipaka are too different from one to one. Now think about the penal code. A judge is going to give a death sentence to somebody uh, in a certain court case. And the judges cannot do that with malicious intentions. I'm going to kill you by sending you to the death sentence. No, I have to go by the provisions in the penal code. Not that I'm going to see that how you guys are going to die, right? So that means even in the penal code, this malicious intention, even they are doing certain actions to establish the peace and order in a place, they can't do that with those malicious, cruel, evil thoughts. So, what I'm trying to tell you is that every case is different, every activity is different, uh, and think about a very chaotic example. Uh, Somebody is trying to save many other beings by doing something, right? So these have to be assessed separately. That would not be the same the first thing that the person must do. But when someone is very wise, now say for instance someone goes to a certain place to do a massive bad thing, and another person sees that he or she is going to do something to that person, maybe to disable the situation, de-escalate the situation. Certain things might be involved. We don't know. They are too early to predict. So at that point, how do we understand it from the Buddhism? Right? Saving 1,000 people, right? Maybe more than 1,000 people. Now think about a lab experience. Couple of scientists, they are in a lab, they are doing research. In those researches, what they are doing, there might be certain killings happening, especially with regard to certain animals, cockroaches, maybe some other rats or other animals. How to look at it? We would like to save all the living beings, but how to look at it? Are we justifying that killing is okay? We don't justify it. But they may have their own point. We are doing this to save millions of human beings, right? Although we don't agree with that, but that is their version. So that's why as Buddhists, we have to look at each situation from a very wise understanding. And think about you personally. Let's say you are catching up a certain cough. Let's say a certain flu, right? And then when you are down with the flu and you understand this could be a viral flu, right? And over-the-counter medications seem not working with you. And then you approach a doctor, and then the doctor will tell you, this is a viral flu, so I give you some antibiotics to help you. So antibiotic means you understand if you are too concerned about life in that perspective, if you are not very wise enough, how to kill the virus? It's a living being. Panatipata. I cannot do that. Then you choose which one is better, you or the virus, right? That's why Buddhists are very wise in practicing Panatipata Viramani, not simply avoiding. You have to take care of yourself, right? You don't have to die like that, right? So at that point, you are taking care of yourself. But what if that at that night you take the medication antibiotic and tonight I'm gonna kill all my virus, happily taking the dose of the pills. Yes, Panadipata. Why? You are not thinking in the proper way. Actually, you should have taken the medications. I have to get better. That's okay. Not that you want to kill the virus, right? I have to get better. Let's say someone is trying to boil the water, thinking, may all the bacteria in the water be killed in this boiling water through the electric kettle. Then your intention is to kill all the bacteria. That's why sometimes overthinking is a problem. When you overthink, you create a lot of panatipata. So what we say, just go and boil the water, have a tea, make a coffee. Don't overthink. If you overthink, panatipata, adinadana, and all that happen. Right? Something to think about. So there are many such things to consider in our daily life, because this Dhamma has to go to the daily life, not in the books, not in the sutta studies only. So we have to check how is this going to work in our daily life. So the Buddha is always asking us to take care of us. Self-care is very important, but don't crave for your body, don't crave for yourself, but self-care is important. But how to engage in self-care? By being wise, right? Wisdom is important. Because you have the wisdom, that is why you don't boil the water thinking, I'm going to kill all the bacteria. I just boil the water. That is why you taking the medications without thinking, I'm going to kill all the virus and bacteria. Think about, there's someone who is going through cancer treatments, right? Perhaps third stage 3 cancer or something, 2 or 3. And then these cancers are operating within oneself. I'm going to kill all my cancer cells. They are beings, I'm going to kill them, right? If there are certain organisms that are happening, it's the way how you interpret. That's why overthinking, unnecessary thinking, rumination is the problem here. Not that you cannot practice the Dhamma. You can practice very easily, but practice Dhamma easily, not with difficulties. How to do it? When you know the way how to do it, you do it. When you don't know the way how you do it, you mess up. You think, I cannot do it. I have to do this thing and that thing. Right? So today, what I'm trying to say here is that find out how not to kill other beings with wisdom. Wisdom has to be infused. Otherwise, there may be issues. Now we are continuing for the other areas. Collective karma. Collective karma and society's impact. I think we discussed that the other day on April 8 when I was there in person. Not many people talk about collective karma. When they talk about karma, they say my karma, your karma, No, there are some karma we do together. Can you think about an example? The whole family going through a problem. Whole family, right? The whole country is going through a problem. The whole city is going through a problem, right? Now, don't try to connect things like we didn't have power for 3-4 days and maybe that's a bad karma we did in a past life. We just disconnected somebody's power. No, not that way. I mean, if you understand that there has been certain worry, suffering that has happened to your whole family, perhaps you may have done something together in a previous life. At least you may have done as a bad choice in this life. Then we have to understand that Buddhism not only talks about personal karma, Buddhism also talks about collective karma, shared karma. Let's talk about this with regard to the killing, not killing. Sometimes early death is not purely individual karma, but collective karma. Wars, pandemics, disasters happen when the collective karma of a society ripens. One person's wholesome karma might still lose against a giant wave of collective destructive karma. Thus, we are not only inheritors of our personal actions, but also of the karmic energy of our society. But also of the karmic energy of our society, karmic energy of the society. This is very interesting. Think about the time, pandemic time, and how many people died. Even there were many people who become what you call immunocompromised, right? Say, for instance, their immunity was ruled out and they were easily catching certain diseases even after that. they died very fast. Why is it? Why did we have to live in a time that there was a very bad pandemic happen? And we think about the Buddha's time. Where was that? The Buddha's time, we understand there was a certain pandemic happened, the Visala, city of Visala, right? Maybe collective karmas also happen, right? Think about the many people who may have died during those events. It's not, and some people died very early in their life, very premature deaths. They are not due to maybe killing, maybe due to certain collective karmas. And length of life is not the same as value of life. This is something very interesting, but don't take it negatively. I'm trying to say as a uh, as a uh, as a perspective that we look at when things happen after that. This idea, the Buddha said in some places, even Dhammapada, 100-year life lived with Lobha, greed, anger, dosa, and moha is spiritually far poorer than a 20-year life lived with wisdom and compassion. In the Buddhist view, quality of consciousness, not quantity of years, defines success. Thus, longevity is a karmic fruit, but spiritual nobility is beyond mere survival. That's pretty interesting. I mean, if the death is inevitable to us, it might happen anytime. If that happens, perhaps we don't need to go back to karma and then check maybe you have done a bad karma. Perhaps that person's life uh, was uh, fully lived to his or her fullest potential. So we can be very happy. So that means we are looking at it from a perspective we could have done more good karma. On the other hand, we shouldn't have any worries because the person must have done a lot of good karma as well. So we look at it in a positive way also. But it doesn't mean you should give up. You should never give up if you can still live, right? If you can still live, don't give up. Do more good thing. Engage in more Dhamma thing. Learn. Practice is the most important thing. We need a lot of time to practice. Sometimes you learn from here and there. You don't have time to practice, right? Finally, we are coming to our last part. When we reflect deeply, the Culakammavibhanga Sutta's this part is not just about death and lifespan. It is about how every single intention, every small act of harmlessness, ahimsa or harm, every choice to heal or hurt, quietly but powerfully shapes the unfolding mystery of our lives and the lives of others. So it means everything matters, especially our thoughts with regard to helping or killing. Our lives are poems written by our karma, every thought, every act, a syllable leading to a destiny, but we can break free it. Thus, while karma is a profound and guiding principle, it's not the only force at work. I again reiterate this part. While karma is so profound and guiding principle, it's not the only force at work. Realizing this, we are encouraged both to live ethically and compassionately, and to face life's uncertainties with wisdom, patience, wisdom, panya, patience, kanti, compassion, karuna. Okay, may this reflection deepen our understanding of karma and inspire us to live with gentleness, care, awareness for all. Okay, all in all, what we discussed today is that we understood primarily a long life is primarily coming from not killing beings, and short life primarily coming to us due to killing. But it is primarily, we never know, there are other reasons. Other reasons might have it. So, suggestion, you can philosophize what we learn here, but before that, I give you what you are supposed to do. Engage in more good karma, save other beings, wish other people saving. Never ever be happy for other people's death, because these are the things that we have to practically engage in. This is how you are creating your shield of life for this life and next life. Okay, so we will take maybe a minute or two for any questions you may have. If you have a question, please come up and there's a mic, you can ask the question.
Under mental state, action rooted in hatred or cruelty, tends to behavior.
Yes. Yes. Okay. What I said in that particular thing is that different people, different killers, when they are killing other beings, they are doing it with different mental states. Someone may do it without any mental state, instantly, or maybe without any plan. But some other people can do it with a lot of hatred. So the one who is doing with a lot of hatred create more bad karma compared to the one who did it without. But I suggest both are wrong. Now we are looking at a post situation, so both are wrong, but those two create different karmas. All right. Any other question? We can take one more question and we will wrap this up today. All right. It seems there are no questions. So if so, we will transfer the good karmas at this point. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. At the same time, wishing you a pleasant night, safe driving home back home. We'll see you next Monday.